Hi folks, how you doing? I'm Ross Minton, this is Grow Your Own Life. Please like, subscribe, that'd be awesome. Today I'm going to talk to you about keeping chickens on the allotment, whether you should or whether you shouldn't. Let's get to it. So it's been about 2 years since I did a video about keeping chickens on an allotment and whether you should, whether you shouldn't, and what to consider. So I thought it was worth doing a recap, really. And the simple answer is, it's a great hobby. It's fantastic chicken keeping. It's awesome. They're a wonderful addition to the allotment simply because they eat a lot of allotment scraps. They also eat slugs and worms and snails and everything else, and they provide you with really good compost. You have to leave it for 12 months, but it's really good compost, really fertile. They will pay for themselves in eggs alone plus compost. But there are downsides, and they're downsides that you've seriously got to consider. And it's that time of year again where a lot of people think, oh, spring's around the corner, I've got a new allotment, or I've had allotment for a couple of years, I'm going to get some chickens because I've seen somebody else with chickens, or I've watched a crazy YouTuber with a stupid beard and he's got chickens. But fact of the matter is, it's a big commitment. It's a massive commitment. If you work full time, it might be a commitment that you can't do. It's an every other day commitment. 3 days is the longest I leave my chickens, but with that ad lib feeders and with their water, I know I can leave them for 2 days and everything's fine. You still run that risk though, that for instance, if I leave here now, this afternoon something could happen and I'm not going to know about it for, you know, a good 36 hours. That's a risk. And before now I have come down and I've found a dead chicken. You try your hardest, but these things are gonna happen if you have allotment chickens. Also, they can't be free ranged on an allotment unless you're going to be down in the morning to let them out and at night to put them back in. And even then, there's a chance that a fox could come in the day. A hungry fox will come out in the daytime, especially if you live in a big city like London or something like that. Foxes are out in the daytime all the time, so you can't leave your chickens out and then, you know, bugger off for the day and then come back in the afternoon. It's not like having them in your garden. So they really need to be secure as best as possible. Some people might not like that idea. Some people might look at my system and say it's far too enclosed. I completely disagree. They literally have a run each if they chose. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs there for 6 chickens, all joined together. I think that's plenty of space, and I think that's the only way I can keep them safe down on this allotment. There's no way I could let them roam free, especially overnight, and there's no way I can get back down here to lock them in again. So, keeping chickens on the allotment. It's been a couple of years since I did a similar video, so I thought it was time to do a refresh. But it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I sprained my ankle yesterday, so it's hurting to walk on. My other half is in bed with norovirus, and I have a poorly daughter. But because I have chickens down the allotment, I have to come down the allotment every other day. That's what I decided to do, because I don't think it's fair to leave chickens longer than 2-3 days at the very most. When you keep chickens on your allotment, it's a lot different to keeping them in your garden. You can't just pop out and lock them away at night, unless you want to come down to your allotment in the morning and the night and do that. If you want to do that, it's up to you. I can't do that. I just can't. I live too far away and it would be pointless having the chickens if I had to do that. So I have a system where the chickens are penned in, but they have lots and lots of space. It should be fox proof. You can never make anything 100% fox proof. They will always find a way given time, but you have to, you know, if you see a hole, if you see something dig, fill it in, repair and do that, and you'll be okay. But they're pretty fox proof down here. Touch wood. Hope I haven't jinxed that now. Hello boys and girls. As you can see from my system, they have water and a nest box there. Then they have a big long run that goes through here into this bit, and then they've got the bit down the side of the greenhouse which they can go into. That gets full sun during the day. Then they have that nest box there, which I'll come round and show you. Lovely being down here in the morning, hearing the birds. And I don't mean you, do I? Then they have this system here. So they have plenty of space. Don't you? Don't you? Plenty of space. How you doing, girlies? And boys, you're all waiting to be fed, aren't you? Alright, show you my system. So this is a rat-proof chicken feeder. Now it started off being rat-proof, and I'm starting to get skeptical about it, because I've noticed that if you shake it, food falls out, and I've got a funny feeling the rats have figured that one out. But it's trial and error with a lot of these feeders. To be honest, I had another rat-proof feeder, and that ended up killing a chicken because the chicken got its head stuck in it. So yeah, it's trial and error, try and figure something out. But it helps a little bit, but I'm not sure it's as 100% as they try and make out that it is. I have a video about it when it was brand new. I don't know whether the overtime parts wear, I've no idea, but try your best to get a rat-proof chicken feeder. As you can see, they know what they want, look. It's like the Pied Piper of Hamlet, isn't it? When I pull this out, you know exactly what it is, don't you? Only problem is you all get under my feet, don't you? So, what do the chickens need? They need shelter, they need food, they need water. They need somewhere to get away from the worst wind conditions, so a boxed in area. I've got at least 3 sections here where they're covered by 4 sides and a roof. So if we got hail and minus temperatures, they could get out of it. That's fine. They need a perch, somewhere to perch where they can sleep. Chickens like to sleep standing up, so they like somewhere to perch. I've got 3 outdoor perches. I've got at least 4 indoor perches, so there's plenty of places for them to perch. They also need somewhere to lay their eggs. Nest boxes. I have a few nest boxes. They're normally just, one's a plant pot with some hay in it, one's one of the chicken coops that's been emptied out, taking the perches out so they can get in there and with hay in it. Ideally it needs to be somewhere that's dark, or not too bright, because they like to go somewhere out the way. And obviously you need hay or newspaper or straw or something soft, because they like to lay their eggs on something soft. At the end of the day, we all like to go somewhere soft when we're experiencing a bit of trouble, and I'm sure squeezing out an egg isn't the nicest thing for a chicken. So somewhere soft for the chicken's bum. I use a thing called a deep litter system, which basically means that they're straight onto soil with some wire underneath to stop foxes digging in, but they're straight onto soil, and I throw in loads of carbon, sawdust, bark, wood chippings, shavings, all that kind of thing, because that mixes with the nitrogen of the chicken poo, and that basically reduces any odour. I mean, they have this section here right by where I'm at hasn't been cleaned out now for 2 weeks. It's about due, and all I would do is scrape it, take out the worst, put it in the compost bin, and throw in more sawdust, and then before you know it, the bugs, the worms, all the things start mixing it all up. The chickens scratch around looking for the bugs and the worms, and they mix it up, and you just create compost. It's a clean smelling soil basically, and it's great for your garden. If you think you're going to have chickens and you're going to have them on grass and you're going to grow grass everywhere, you won't. Chickens love grass, they love to eat it, they love to scratch it, they love to dig in it. Before you know it, you'll have no grass left. All of this chicken run that I have here was on grass. Within about 2 weeks of them being on it, the grass was gone. So don't think you can put chickens on grass in one spot and expect to have grass for very long, because you won't. As you can see, that back in the left hand side is where they perch at night, because that's where their droppings are. That is about 3 days worth of droppings since the last time I turned that over. The rest of it is just normal composty soil in there, because it's due to have that lot put in there when I've got time. The rest of it, as you can see, the rest of it is sawdust and bark. They seem to love it, and that gets topped up as and when. You know when to top it up, because it starts to look dirty and mulchy, and then you just add some more. And the nice thing about this system is it's quite easy just to rake it out, put it on the compost bin. This is one of the nest boxes which the chickens have started to sleep in. I can tell that because there's droppings in there. Obviously the last few nights have been cold, so they've decided that's where they want to be, in that area there, which is fine by me. That nest box there is currently shut off for cleaning, and there is a rat trap in there at the moment, because I always like to keep on top of the pests. You're going to get them. And these runs here are just more elephant bark, I think it's called, elephant grass. They use it for horse stables. Chickens love it, and it's really good at staying dry. Within a day or two of it raining, it's all bone dry. It's really good for the chickens' feet. Then they have another barked area there, and they have another nest box in the corner. Lots of things really to keep them active. Because at the end of the day, as I've said, I'm not down here all the time. So I want the chickens to be pretty much self-sufficient. They put themselves to bed, they feed themselves, they get their own water, they have plenty of space to wander around, they have space to get away from each other, which is also important. If one of the chickens is feeling bullied, it can come over here and it can be well away from the rest, and so on and so forth. And that, I think, is really important. Chickens will bully each other. That's where the word pecking order comes from. They work out who's boss. You'll see from this system here, the chicken on the log is the lowest one in the pecking order. She's waiting for everyone else to eat before she gets in there, because she'll probably get pecked first. The cockerel there eating is top dog. And the other cockerel and the other 3 chickens, they're in the middle somewhere. There you go, there's a bit of pecking there. That's one chicken saying, I'm above you, I eat first. You just got to get used to it. Some people hate seeing it. It's what chickens do, and you won't stop it. When I had chickens the first few weeks, a lot of people on this site were skeptical. And the reason they were skeptical is because before I came to the site, somebody else had chickens on this allotment. And by all accounts, I wasn't here at the time, so I don't know. So this is just what I've heard from 4 or 5 really reputable sources. They put chickens in one of those small runs. Just, I think there was 4 chickens in a small run. And they would leave it for a whole week. And then they even got bored of that, and apparently some of the plot holders here started feeding and watering the chickens because they noticed that the water was empty or the food was empty, and obviously these people hadn't come down for like 2 weeks. Now if you've got an allotment and it's winter, a lot of people round on this site now, I haven't seen them for the last 3 months, which is cool. Because it's been winter, and you don't come down the allotment really much in the winter, or a lot of people see their allotments as spring, summer, autumn type hobbies, and they have the winter off, and that's cool. That's all well and good. A lot of plots get put to bed. If you have chickens, you can't put your plot to bed unless you can take your chickens away for winter and put them in your back garden. You can't put them to bed simply because you've got to come down every other day and feed your chickens. And it doesn't matter whether it's windy, rainy. I've had to come down here in 2 foot of snow. I've had to make it down here. I've been dropped off at the end of the road and I've walked. It could be flooded, it could be anything. You've got to get down here. I have a sprained ankle, or a sore ankle. I have a poorly family. It's probably the worst day for me to come down today, but I gotta do it. Chickens need feeding, I need to make sure they've got water. I need to do all those things. And you can't have days off if you have chickens on the allotment. Unless you've got friends that can help out, you can't have days off. It is a commitment. It's almost like having a child. Think of it like that. It's almost like having a child, because you've got to provide food and water and shelter for a creature. It's not like putting some rhubarb in and letting it do its own thing and then picking it next year. It's a 24-hour, 48-hour commitment to an animal. Okay, so if you think you can do that, then by all means crack on and you'll love it. If you can't do that, maybe think twice, but it's up to you, and only you truly know best. So don't be put off by this, and don't be encouraged by this. You sit there, you figure it out, and you decide for yourself. Till next time folks, I've been Ross Minton. This is Grow Your Own Life. Take care, speak soon. Oh, please subscribe.